Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I don't want to die. Trevor, stop. Terrible.
G'day guys, welcome to,
No.
there he is. Okay, Stu.
G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, we're going to be doing, welcome back to the Sunday Q&A. Now, last week, everybody loves to have a joke. This is going to kill me.
I'm miming.
Okay, yeah, you do the hand sign language, but what this is a Sunday Q&A where every week we get together, we talk about some new, different, or exciting. I'm talking about the UAVfutures. That's a Tech Tuesday intro. I don't know what's going on because we had a bit of a challenge. We're going to try and zip tie my hands down just for a little bit. I'm actually feeling very, very vulnerable, and I actually don't really know what I'm talking about. I really need my hands to talk because it's quite difficult. It's making my brain explode. Anyway, what this is, and I need to... This is going to be the worst. What this is, sorry for everybody listening at home, we are usually much more professional, but what this is, no we're not, but what this is the Sunday Q&A where every week Trevor and myself and sometimes Crash Test Cal, he's not really a slacker, but he's not here today, we get together, we answer your questions from the community. So if you're a new subscriber, we've got some questions about FPV, about drone racing, about YouTube. Put them down in the description down below and we're going to go through, answer your questions. And we really like doing these videos. They're a lot of fun. Anyway, should we kick it off, Trev?
Oh, I got that used to mine, mate.
Yeah, see, it's good. I'm going to take these off, man. I cannot think about what I'm saying. I'm struggling to actually talk. I'm taking these off.
So do we do his mouth next week?
That sounds terrible.
Can we put the jumper back on your head now?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No. Alrighty. So, that's actually, I've got some marks on my hands from pulling them up too much. That did make me feel, we must have a really good trusting relationship for me to be able to do that. Or I've got some problems.
I do want to break the new chair.
Yeah. Alright, ready to kick it off? How have you been anyway?
Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? It's kind of weird how dark it's getting over here, which is kind of sucks. Oh, this is totally unrelated to anything, but when I was driving over here, I was thinking the other day when I used to come over here in the middle of summer, and it was like, because it's about, what, 8:30 right now, but it used to be, it would still be daylight when I was coming over here back in the day. Yeah,
it's sad, isn't it?
Anyway, let's kick it off.
Winter sucks.
Yeah, it does. This one is from Apitavar, and look, I should apologize too if there's audio issues, focus issues, pronouncing name issues, or just generally getting off topic. We're really sorry, but just suck it up because that's how the UAVfutures Q&As go. But this one's from this guy from Apitavari. Is there a podcast, and if so, where is it? Love the Q&A, and by the way, keep up the great work. You know what, I have actually submitted it to iTunes. I put the RSS feed, I keep going to say RSSI feed or whatever, but yes, there is a podcast coming of these Q&As as well. I'll put the link down below. By the time you watch this, the last one should be out, and also this one as well. So yes, it's not up as we're filming this, but it should be out very, very soon, and hopefully by the time this video is coming. So all you people who want to listen to it as a podcast and not on YouTube, yes, you're going to get that chance as well. This one's from Creepin' FPV. I don't know where Trevor's creeping off to.
Fan.
Oh, okay. You care about the noise going on in the background.
There was a fan going, it was driving us nuts.
Yeah, it was Calvin. I have a question for next week. I've got to turn this heater off, man. I'm actually cooking under here. How do I turn it? Alright, I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was. I only put it down here just to knock that cold air off.
Take the chill off, as my grandma would say. Okay, so this one's from Creepin' FPV. I have a question for next week. Where do you think FPV will be in 5 years? What would you, and where would you like it to be in the next 5 years? I kind of paraphrased that bit. Where will it be, and where would you like it to be?
Well, I can't answer that because he said it's a question for next week.
Okay. Here, Trevor, where do you want it in 5 years, mate? You've got to work with me here.
5 years. Oh, they probably won't be able to fly them anymore because they'll fly themselves.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So do you reckon, you don't think our hobby will exist in 5 years' time?
Yeah, it'll exist because, it's got to. What would we do without it?
Trevor, where's it going to be in 5 years, mate? That's what the question's asking you.
Well, no.
Alright, I'm going to say, I think the hobby will be in a very similar situation to where it is now, except maybe with a little bit more exposure. I'm hoping that some regulations don't mess it up for a lot of people out there. but I think it might go a little bit of the way of skating. You know, where there's big craze and then there's just people who enjoy it every single day. It might be on TV occasionally, and then it's just going to continue to grow as this sort of steady, slow growth. That's where I sort of say I think the big rushes come in, and now it's just going to be long-term, slow growth over a long time.
You'll probably have 4 kids by now.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That's enough for doubles tennis and a referee.
Yeah, one of those would be flying.
You know, my daughter really likes helicopters and planes all the time. She's pointing at them in the sky. It makes her giggle. Anyway, where would I like FPV to be in the next 5 years? Think of like, I don't know, like a local soccer or football clubs, but instead of going out to kick a ball around, you're going out to some drone racing parks. But I mean, like, it's that mainstream where you can be, you know, I would like it to be as big as video games or as big as football or soccer or something like that. That's where I'd really like it to be. Where would you like it to be?
Don't care.
Okay.
Long as it's still around.
This is going to be a long Q&A with one man Trevor. One word Trevor. Alright, this one's from Simone's FPV UAV. Hi guys, UAVfutures is hands down, I don't know if that's a pun or not, best FPV channel. You guys have been a huge catalyst for my venture into piloting such a great innovation. Just like you guys, I'm hooked forever. Question is, what's the next big thing? Cheers, mateys. What's the next big thing coming for us, Trevor?
Oh, why always first?
Alright, you want me to go?
First.
Alright, let's give Trevor's old brain, once it stops freezing up. Did you like that last week? I put, what was it, the Trevor EXE has stopped recording. I thought I did cackle to myself.
I really thought that was totally uncalled for. Whatever you like.
Alright, I'm going to go. I'm going to say the next big thing for me, I think something that we're really going to get into is modules. So they're going to come a long way. We're really wanting to step up our game. We've got the rapid fire module that's sort of about to fire off. Clearview's had its little sort of debut when they're trying to fix some of those things. So I think they're going to filter down, and that's going to be the new thing that we're all going to be getting into is new high quality receiver modules to get some nice crispy clear vision when we're flying around. What about you, Dev Trev?
I just reckon more older guys are going to get into it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As we grow older, or you just think it's like the audience?
No, I think the audience, we're starting to get a few now that are starting to get into it. So instead of just the younger blokes out there, there's going to be a few older guys. Older than me, you know.
And I know
old blokes I'm talking about.
Your channel actually helps people get into it too. I'm going to leave a card to Trevor's channel, and I'll link that down below and that sort of stuff. But yeah, do you find a lot of people relate to you and your channel? Some older people?
Yeah, that and on Discord. I talk to a lot of guys on Discord just getting into it as well. So
this one's from M Shane 86. How do you arm the quad when it's up in the tree? So maybe they saw this the other week when you decided just to test your tree quad skills, put it in the top of this really, really tall gum tree, and then he wants to know how you got it out. We actually got it out by arming the quad, but how do you get that setting ready? Because a lot of the times your quad won't arm if it's not on the right sort of flat angle.
Well, there was I had turtle mode set up on that, so it'll arm in any angle. You have to turn it off, but there's instructions how to do that.
What Trevor's trying to say, you need to do the set arm angle 180 or whatever it is. So Google that, and that allows you to arm your quad no matter what angle that it's on. So highly recommend to do that. It does make taking off easier sometimes and getting out of your sort of sketchy crashes.
Set up turtle mode at the same time. You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Frank Rajas. I'm sure this guy comments all the time, so massive shout out to you, mate. Hey Stu, hope the fam is doing good and all is well. They are doing very well, thank you. I only have one question. When are you going to finish chewing your chopstick pointer that you've been using for like forever? It's getting kind of gnarly, mate. Maybe it's time to update to a version 2.0. Just saying. Well, I have had that chopstick for quite a long time, but I've also got some backups as well. It has been replaced before. I think I've got a little stash actually from the Japanese restaurant. Whenever I go there, I sort of pinch a couple and take it home. But yeah, I might have a look into some carbon fiber ones or some other ones out there. Love these. This one's from I almost said herpy. It's like hippie, but the I and the E are around the wrong way. 2007. Love these Q&As. A question, please, if I may. Does cycling batteries quickly, same day for instance, hurt them? So this guy has a scenario. The packs are at storage level. He charges them up to go and fly, but then he changes and no flying gets done. So he puts them back into storage that evening. Is that going to be an issue?
No.
Okay. Can he leave them fully charged overnight?
Yeah, not a problem.
All right. Please answer. You guys are gurus. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mates. Jeff. So yeah, and how long would you say he can leave his batteries fully charged? How long would you leave yours fully charged before you take it out and fly them?
Well, look, I have done them for a week, but that's not really recommended. But probably most I do leave them charged is probably 3 days.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying. You can, up to cycling them right up and right down to storage and fully charged, that's not going to do any damage to them. You know, any noticeable damage anyway. Maybe if you did it 5,000 times or something. And the other part, yeah, you can leave them charged, fully charged overnight. I quite often do that. I'll charge them up, ready to go flying the next morning. And if I was going to, yeah, 3 days is about the max before I think, well, I should probably discharge those.
Yeah, if you look after your batteries, they'll last you a long time. So if you don't look after them,
you'll be buying a lot.
You'll be buying a lot of batteries, and they'll, you know, you'll be going out and giving them a bit of stick, and nothing will happen. They'll just dive into the ground.
I do need to look after my batteries a bit more. This one's from FPV. F Paul V. That's how I'm going to say it, because it looks like it's going to say FPV, but it's got Paul in the middle. It's quite a good little some letters there. Hey Stu and the crew, just getting familiar with my new Tyrannus QX7, and I'm fooling around with custom sounds. Can y'all make a UAVfutures sound pack? My transmitter beeps a lot, so I already got grumpy. This is actually something we do want to do. We've had discussions in the past. Yeah. There's been some things on Discord. There's a really good sound of Trevor where he's saying something like, no kidding, I've just flown this thing for 5 seconds and already I can tell it's a piece of shit. You know, some things like that. So if you've got some of your favourite UAVfutures moments, link them with a timestamp down below. You know, I'll pin a comment to the top, link it to that, and we might be able to find some of the classics, some of the really funny ones we'll put in there for maybe a UAVfutures voice pack.
Yeah, we'll try and do one this year.
Yeah, okay. This one's from Roland B. Your content is great, you're knowledgeable and informative, but what keeps me and probably a good portion of the people watching coming back is the camaraderie and genuine friendship you guys share all together with us. Thank you all the UAVfutures family in front of and behind the camera. Much love, Roland B. So I thought I'd just put that in there. Thanks so much, Roland B. That's a really nice, positive message, because I know we're in front of the camera quite a bit, especially, well, I know I'm in front of the camera quite a bit, but there is a lot of people behind the scenes, and to our families as well. I know your wife, as much as you rag on and on, does really support you and is always talking, you know, helping, and you've got those things like mugs and your grumpy t-shirts, and I know for my wife, shout out to her, she really helps as well. And then we've got all our mates too that are behind the scenes, that are always coming out and coming down, helping us set things up and always setting the track up. So there is a big family behind here, and I think, this isn't a really question, but yeah, there's a lot of people involved in UAVfutures, and it goes both ways as well, because we love giving back to you, and we also feed off that stuff that you guys put into the channel as well.
I should have kept your hands tight.
Okay, this one's from Dutch Dog 541. Great Q&A, Stu and Trev. Do you guys do any long range flying? Something I want to get into, but I don't know where to start. Do you do any long range?
Oh, well, no, I used to. That's where I started. And then racing quads come out, and you're flying long range stuff is just sitting there going, that's what you're doing. Like, it's pretty monotonous. So probably won't be.
Yep. I kind of agree. Like, I think long range, if you, after getting some really cool footage, maybe if you've got some going up some mountains or really along some long beaches, that's what it's about. If you're making content for people to watch your videos, as far as just flying up to the hill and the thrill of like, can I get there and get back, for me, that's not the sort of thrill I like, because I know if I lose that quad up the side of a mountain, that's a long walk to go and get it back. So I don't, maybe I'm just being a lazy bugger, but I don't like the sound of going on a big hike to get that back. I've seen some of Nurk's videos where he's like trekked for half a day just to get his drone back. So yeah, probably not. I might show you some long range setups, and I did do a video, I'll link it above Trev's head. What was that thing called? The Skull 8-inch, it had 8-inch arms. But yeah, that's probably as close as we're going to get to long range. This one is from Jason Olsen for the Q&A. And do you ever lose interest in FPV for no reason at all, just due to life and with the unexpected things that we deal with on a daily basis? Do you ever find you lose interest in FPV? I'm going to zoom right in on your face here, Trevor.
No.
Sometimes it's hard to balance the two, especially when the second half looks at FPV as just toys and a money pit. So it makes me feel guilty to work on, talk about buy parts and flying. What is the best way to handle a situation like this that I know I'm not alone? Thanks, buddy.
Divorce.
Keep doing what? Don't. That's a terrible bit of advice. Don't listen to Trevor. You don't need to get a divorce to stay in this hobby. I'm going to answer the first part. Do I ever lose interest in FPV for no reason? Oh, no, not at all. I feel like I am every day more and more consumed by FPV. Thinking about it. I think about it when I go to sleep, when I wake up. It is my actual what I do all the time. Like it's always on my mind.
Like a drug.
Yes.
A very expensive drug.
It is. Oh, those battery suppliers have got me.
Yeah.
I guess talking about how am I alone and how do I deal with the situation, you know, and I think I've spoken about this in the past, but having a really supportive partner and just explaining how much you like it, how much it means to you, and what you can actually do with it, and bring them along and show them how much fun you're having, and maybe if you take an interest, here's some advice in some of the things they're doing, they might take an interest in some of the things you're doing.
That doesn't work, divorce is still on the cards.
Okay, so that's your advice. How do you get away with it, Trevor? We're talking about drones so much.
I just married the right person.
Yeah, oh, that's lovely. Big data pimp. Okay. Good day, keep up the great work and don't stop with the parody. They're great. So that's obviously referring to the JB one we did. We did one for who we do? The Dribble last week. What was the hardest part about getting started with FPV? So for me, when I first got my kit, I think the hardest part was not having a big, or I didn't know where to go to get the right information. I had one guy, and I think, well, I can't remember his name. I feel like a jerk. But
you told me you couldn't work out how to pronounce FPV.
But I did. Andrew. This guy's name was Andrew, and he was a contact through my wife's. Knew someone. My wife's relative knew someone at work. Yada yada yada. And they emailed me finally saying, "Oh, this guy's going to get into FPV." Back and forth with some emails. He told me about fat sharks and I should get a Tyrannus. You know, some really good advice. So he probably, I don't even know if he's still into FPV, but shout out to him. But what was I saying? The hardest part? But the hardest part was after that, I didn't have that extra information. Like, I didn't know where to look. I didn't have YouTube channels like UAVfutures or Grumpy Wobbles Trevor or any of those ones. I had Bruce, which was useful, but the hardest part for me was just finding out and learning the ins and outs of it, and that's what I wanted UAVfutures to be about, was to make the transition easier for people to look at what I do and think, gee, that can't be that hard, or is this guy breaking it down easy enough for me to consume? I want to get in and have a go. So that was the hardest part for me, and that's why I do this channel, because I wanted to change that as well. And I remember too, like, there'd be an email, have you hooked up your Fat Shark, you know, your FPV to try it out? I'm thinking, no, I haven't even built my drone together. The idea of just making your separate FPV system just to have a muck around and realizing the capabilities and you can do anything in this circuitry and make it do what you want, it hadn't clicked for me yet. I was so used to consumer, it has to be all perfect to work. I'm rambling, Trevor's falling asleep. It's past his bedtime. What was the hardest thing of getting into FPV for you, Trev?
I'm glad you asked that question again because I'd forgotten what the question was.
I know.
The answer went that long.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing about getting into it?
Yeah. What was the hardest thing about getting started with FPV for you?
The hardest thing was the cash, getting the money together to buy all the gear because it was just so expensive when it started.
Yeah, you do need to really commit, don't you?
Yeah, it's a big commitment, and that was, to me, the hardest thing was buying the gear because it was a lot of money back then. Just a racing drone back then was $750 US. So goggles were like $500-600.
They were for dodgy goggles too. They weren't Fat Sharks. That wasn't why they were expensive. They were just expensive in general.
They were just first out. And they were But yeah, that was the hardest thing for me.
Alright, this one's from FPV Dreams. Hi Stu and Trev, do you think the graphene type LiPo batteries are different or better enough to justify the increase in cost? When flying with graphenes, do you find that your flight times are noticeably longer?
Yeah.
You do?
And well, the batteries last us longer too because just the time that we've had them, we probably bought them at the same time, didn't we? Really, and I've still got batteries that are 18 months old that I'm still using that are still good.
Are they graphenes?
They're graphenes. Yeah.
Okay.
They're Turnigy graphenes that I've got, and I love them. I reckon they're better than most of the other batteries that we've got.
All right, for me, I'm going to agree with you. I know I've got a lot of batteries, but one that I consistently keep going back and buying when they're on special are the 1500 Turnigy graphenes from, I think they're from Hobby King. I'll link them down below, but does anywhere else sell them? I don't know. Anyway, they'll be linked down below, but I think I got them for like $20 a pop, the 1500.
Yeah, they were cheap.
And they're my go-to battery because look, there are some others that pump out more amps when you need them. I do think so, but these ones do a solid job most of the time. Yes, they're a bit bigger. Yes, they're a bit heavier, but if you want weight anywhere, it's good. It's a good place to be in your battery because it means it's actually got some stuff in there. And I think they're rated correctly. And I'm just a big fan. I feel like they can push a lot longer until the end, and then the drop off the sag isn't quite as bad. And they hold up pretty well in crashes too because they've got some plates in
Yeah,
there.
they're thicker stuff.
They're just a great battery. If you can get them on special, they're definitely a good buy. Hey Stu, oh, this is another one. How often do you replace your chopstick pointer? Probably about every 6 months, I'd say. So I've got a good stockpile. What do you use for yours on your bench?
Whatever's on the bench.
Okay, your finger.
No. Probably
Screwdriver.
a pen or a screwdriver or whatever I pick up.
This one's from Coties.
I like to keep it interesting.
Okay. Once you got the basic expensive stuff, you know, a couple of drones, some good goggles, good radio, what's the next big item you would invest in to assist with this hobby? Maybe a 3D printer, large field charger.
Or drones.
Okay, but once you got all those, what's the next big thing? Is there anything someone else might not be thinking of?
Batteries.
Yeah, I think you can never go wrong investing in batteries. Yeah. Or if you don't have one and you're doing a lot of like moving around, a backpack is also very handy.
Sure,
having a good backpack.
You can never have enough batteries. I mean, you can go out and.
Would you get more batteries or a field charger? What let's weigh that up here.
No, field charging is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely
totally.
painful. And if you're out there all day, you end up with a flat battery, so that doesn't work.
And or run in your car for half the day, half a thing of gas.
So, no, it's not worth it.
What about a right shield? Do you think everyone should get one of them? A crash test cal.
Yeah, a crash test cal.
Invest in a crash test cal. That is actually something that is very, very handy, I find. All right. This one's from Mullis Vex. Awesome Q&A. Shame the elusive cal didn't make an appearance. That's okay. We're kind of used to it, and I know that he's actually working night shift right now. He starts at 11 p.m. Poor bugger. Hey Trev, it's Chris, big fan. So do you know someone called Chris off Discord?
Chris.
Sitting at home.
Oh yeah, I do know. G'day Chris, how you going?
You jerk, Trevor, big fan. Stu got a question. Can you make a buy, swap and sell quad stuff only for the channel on the Discord and have a sub-region channel so people around the world and drone stuff? And I do get asked this a little bit, and this is a big shout out to the Discord people because there's a thing for server suggestions, but as far as the buy, swap and sell, I feel like there's enough places online and those things just pretty much get spammed with people trying to just trade things, and it's a big can of worms that I don't want that on the UAVfutures Discord. So I thought I'd answer that one on here. But yeah, I'm not going to be putting like a buy, swap, trade, sell part on the Discord, but I'll link some places down below anyway, like some classified places where you can go and sell your gear or pick up some cheaper gear if you're into that.
Yeah, enjoy your Big Mac tonight, Chris.
Okay. Okay, I'm not even going to ask. Bushy FPV. Hi Stu, do you think it's better to use goggles with a larger field of view in tighter places and a smaller field of view when flying in more open spaces with more speed and vice versa? Thanks a lot and keep putting out the great content, John.
What's he want to do? Change his field of view?
So goggles. You know you can have a big field of view, smaller field of view. Is it worth changing that up?
Oh, nah. That'd drive you nuts.
Okay, and what do you think is the best field of view then? What do you like it really immersive? Do you like it really postage stamp cinema style in the between? What works for you?
Well, I fly with one way, so that's...
So what does that mean? For those people might not have seen in all ways.
What's the field of view we've got in those?
I think it's 35, 37.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I really enjoy that. I do fly with...
And what about if it's too big? Do you find bigger is worse, or what do you mean?
Well, not really, but it takes a little bit of getting used to from going from one to the other on the day.
Yep.
If you've done 3 or 4 packs and all of a sudden you change to another one.
Look how good this is. Sorry.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
That's great. I wonder if that's coming up in. That's perfect, mate. Okay, keep going.
Where was I?
There's people listening. If you're on the podcast, I've just put my feet up on Trevor's table. It's working quite well.
You always interrupt me when I try to answer a question.
when you actually do it seriously and they're like, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
Sorry, Trevor, my interview skills are lacking.
Yeah.
Large field of view, it takes a bit to get used to.
Yeah, if you swap in the field, look, some people can do it okay, I guess, but we've noticed when we've done it, you go for a fly and it's just so different. It takes a couple of laps to get adjusted, doesn't it?
What? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright, I'm going to say bushy FPV. You know, this is something that's caused a bit of controversy in my reviews that I've done. Because everyone always says, oh, bigger is better. Bigger field of view is better. You always want the biggest field of view you can get. I don't know where Trevor's getting. No. But for me, I'm going to have to not look at Trevor and just focus on this bit of the review. But for me, I find that if it's too big, it's actually quite distracting. And that sounds terrible. But yeah, I don't like a large field of view because it's too much for me. I do think the Onway V1s made my flying easier. And when I said
You're
that...
not talking about my head, are you?
No, and when I said that in the review, people were like, oh, that's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, we call it like it is. And that was my finding. With my fast race flying, I liked around that on-way field of view. And I do find if it's bigger, it is a little bit more... It's more immersive, but it does not improve my flying style, which a lot of people claim that it does. It might for them, but it definitely doesn't for me. Well, that was a big question. What I am going to do, I'm going to push stop on that, come back, and then we'll keep recording, alright? Just in case the camera cuts out.
We can tell because the red light's on.
Yeah, but it's going to cut out halfway through like the next question, I reckon. Okay, it records,
well, it's only because you're talking
it records for half an hour, and I'll tell you how long we've got.
Well, you talked for half an hour a minute ago, so it must have stopped.
27 minutes, mate. We're good, we're good. See? Okay, camera is good to roll again. This one's from Jordan Renwick. Do you tune your quads? I know you've been flying a lot of binder flies, but when it's your main quad, do you tune it? So when you build one up, do you tune it, Trev?
Not really. Not unless I have to, and
yep.
Don't very often have to, so no.
100% completely agree, you know. If I've got a quad and it goes on right, it goes good enough on default, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. I'm not going to waste any time doing a bit of tuning. If it's got some problems, then yeah, I will try and tune those out. You know, if I do a build guide or excuse me, on some of my builds I've posted some PIDs because I need to put a bit of work into them. But most of the time, I think it flies good enough. And new pilots, I think another question's coming up about this soon too, but you don't need to learn PID tuning or anything like that. The default, most of the time, is pretty good. And then even if it's not working out well for you, a little bit of a play around with the P's and the I's and the D's, you'll sort of get the general idea.
Yeah,
so
there's plenty of information on YouTube about that.
But it's becoming less and less relevant, I think, because the drones are getting better and better. The hands, This one's from Alan Dampog. Keep up the good videos, and yes, would love the Velocidrone UAVfutures track. Oh, that must not be a question. Okay, well, shout out to Alan. I thought I'd screenshot a question. This one is a question from Harry Gibson. What would you say is the best value goggle for pilots for now and for no and also future proofing? I see. What's the best goggle we should get now, and also for a bit of future proofing?
Almost.
How are they future proofing?
Well, they still work.
Okay. I think you're right in one sense. If you want the best value goggles, well, yep, Onway V1's absolutely killed it. Especially sometimes they're like $300. I've seen them US, and then I think they're about $360 now, but you might be able to get them on special.
What's going to change whether you got fat chucks?
Well, this is what I'm talking about in terms of future proofing. Are things like the rapid fire module, the clear view module. Those modules, if you want to future proof and have a goggle where, let's say some really cool tech comes out in a receiver and you can put that into your goggle, I think that might be, if that does happen and you want to plan for something something like that in the future, maybe like the Attitude V3s or something where you can actually take a module and put it in. So that's for the future proofing part. There is no one that does both really, really well.
Look, by that time, you're going to buy another set of goggles anyway.
Alright. Slayer6918 wants to know.
Oh, there's a name I like.
I have two questions. When was the last time you cleaned that room, and do you plan to clean it again next year?
Who was he asking me that question?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's fucking clean now.
It's so clean in here. It's ridiculous. I can't believe what you've done. We've got benches set up, the printers, everything actually...
Yeah, we'll give you a quick view.
Alright. At the end, we'll flash around what Trevor's new workshop is looking like, and it is smick. I am jealous. It's really, really nice.
I did like his name.
It's dusty in here, though. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have some tea.
You think it's dusty?
Or something. I don't know.
Nothing's been going.
Maybe I'm just getting like asthma or something. Alright. Do you think we will get true low latency HD FPV anytime soon from Tegan Leetang.
No.
Agreed. No. I think there's not enough people in our hobby yet to make the investment to get that coding and pushing all that, pushing that along with the money behind it. It's just not there yet. Rich K, great Q&A. Where do you take your questions from for the Q&A? YouTube, Discord, Patreon, etc. Sometimes I do put out a special post on my Patrons asking if they've got some questions. Discord, I have asked them in the past, but most of the time, if you want to get your question on the Q&A answered, put it down in the comment section down below, provided by YouTube. So go stick it down there, and that's where we usually pick them out. Whew. Alright, let's keep going. Hey Drew, I haven't flown, must be a reference to last week. I haven't flown any of my quads in about 8 months. I finally dusted off all my gear and my transmitter quit communicating. My transmitter quit communicating with all my FC boards. Has anything like this happened to you, and how should you store drones for long-term non-usage? His radio's not talking to any of his drones anymore. What's going on?
Oh, say his radio's broken.
I think it might just be I would say it's not all your drones, it's probably your radio, and maybe you've bumped a bind button on there. Maybe something's happened on your actual radio that sort of made it lose connection with all of your drones. Because usually you don't have to, you could, you know, as long as you take the batteries out, you can throw them in a box, plug it up 10 years later, and if it's still the same electronics, it should still work. There's no difference between leaving it for 24 hours and then leaving it for 10 years, I think.
Ask this question. Why would you want to put drones in a box?
I don't know. Maybe they're his old drones. What about though, some of the transmitters have that little internal battery. Maybe that went flat for a really, really long time, but even when I've taken mine out, it still doesn't lose.
What ones were those?
There's like a little, inside the QX7 and also the Tyrannus, there's a little button battery in there.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes when I've got stuck on the boot menu and I've had to take it out and put it back in. But then, but I've completely taken it out there and it hasn't lost its bind. I've had the thing out, so yeah, I would say something's going on. Maybe just check some of your settings. I don't know. Well, we didn't really help him, did we?
And you shouldn't put him in a box anyway. So get him out of the bloody box.
Maybe it's raining a lot.
Yeah.
Aschichiofilo. Sorry about that pronunciation, mate. Hello, UAVfutures and community. I'm a newbie at FPV and not to RC hobby, at least 30 years. I just bought Commander V1 goggles, and I've noticed that unless I place the goggles in a perfect position, I get some not focus areas in the image. And yes, I have adjusted the interpupillary distance. It looks more a vertical adjustment. It is really annoying me. Is this normal? Does it happen? Which other brands, such as Fat Sharks? Thanks again for my answer. Sorry about my English, it's not my native language. And I'm going to say, well, if you can get them, you know, everybody needs to get their goggles on their face. And yeah, if you have it vertically not the right space, or, you know, it's just not going to line up. So make sure you put it on the right place, and then you're going to be able to see a lot better.
Can you do that again? So that's nearly the best you've looked all night.
Any advice for someone who needs to, do you find all goggles need to get them lined up right? Or
yeah, you have. You've got to get them. But it sounds like he might need glasses. From what he's describing.
No, he's saying he's getting it right, but he's got to make sure it's not just this way. He's also got to get them right on his face, up and down. You want to know all goggles like that. So the Fat Shark's the same, and yeah,
those box goggles, everything's like that.
Yeah. This one's from Kevin Summers, Stu, GT, and maybe even CTC. Just built my first quad, but I'm still using a FrSky radio and eShun box goggles that I used with my Wizard. Would you upgrade your goggles or controller first? And why?
Controller's still working.
Yep.
I'd update the goggles.
That's it. I agree with you, Trevor.
Yeah.
What is the best 3-inch quad to build? Please answer. Have a budget of around 150 bucks. Well, that's, I don't know, what's a 3-inch frame you like? Oh, just get an XJB. They're about 150 bucks. I'll link those down below. They're ready to rock and roll. Because otherwise I can't link, I don't know what.
You won't build one better than that for that sort of
thing. Yeah, it's very comparative. Taz FPV. Okay, I know everyone gives Stu grief about what he wears, but what about Trev's shirt? You ought to start blurring that thing out. What do you got? Geelong Cats. That's just for you, Taz FPV. You're gonna see.
Yeah, read it and weep.
Well, that's a pretty dusty looking hat, Trevor. You mustn't wear that too much, mate.
No, it's all the dust off my head.
I don't think so. That thing's shining like a bowling ball.
He obviously follows an inferior football
Okay, we're moving on because I don't want to start a football war. John the Don John. That's a weird name. Hey, good day, Stu. Good day, Stu. Would you like, what accent do you want me to read it in?
German.
No, okay. I'm going to go some Scott. Good day, Stu. This is actually my first time to post a comment. I would just like to say I love all the useful info, mainly the cool drones. My question is, where is the best places online to look for good FPV racer kit? My son and I really want to get into the hobby. We absolutely love flying and enjoying time together, having fun outdoors. Thank you, and hope to hear from you soon.
That sounded more like the drill.
It was. Anyway, where would really hurt my voice? I'm not going to do that again. But where would you buy some stuff from online?
Where would I buy some stuff from online?
Yeah, where's like a good? What are some good shops? You want me to go first?
Where is he? Where is the guy?
It doesn't say. You want me to go first? You go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
I'm going to say, if you're in Australia, shout out to Phaser FPV, because I know he's got a big range. I know a lot of international people. They use Bangers. I'll link them down below, so that's Banggood. I know the Armaton store has quite a lot that ships international. I think that's got like $5 postage. There's places like the States are just spoiled. There is so many places in the States that have good shipping as well. So you can just check all, that'd just be an easy Google, like Amazon or something like that. That could help you out. What about you? Any places you'd like to buy? Oh, and I would say too, if you're going to be buying, pay with PayPal, because I know I get this comment a lot from a lot of people. Stuart, can I buy from this site? What about this site? And my advice is, look, if you're concerned about a site, pay with PayPal, because they usually back the purchaser up so much. It's much easier to get your money back if something goes wrong. So, Trev, anything to add?
I guess international. Well, Hobby King's.
Oh yeah,
really
Hobby
good.
King.
It's probably one of the biggest. In Australia, you got Next XTV, you got Bolt. There's Phaser, of course, and
Buzz Hobbies.
Yeah, Buzz Hobbies.
I wonder how many Australian ones we can
Faster
rattle off.
FPV. That are all good. I mean, we've only heard good things about those.
Nemos.
No, they're gone, I think, aren't they?
They're closing down. I think they're still. I don't know if they still trade, but
yeah, there's some really good guys in Australia out there now.
Anyway, let's move on. Oh, you're going to love this guy's name, Trevor Johnson.
Hey, Trev.
I've been seeing a lot of hype around 6S lately, and I'm wondering, my voice is still hurting from that, wondering if you think we'll continue to see increasingly high cell count batteries. How should we choose batteries for the investment in the future? And yes, there's been a bit of 6S hype, and I think as the race season comes, we're finding, there's a bit more growth to go in the sort of studies in those areas. I want to do some testing as well and find out, what's the deal between 6S? Is it hype? Is it going to make it better? But I don't think you should go out and buy batteries, just based on that. I don't fly 6S quite as much. I don't fly 6S very much at all, because I've got so much 4S gear. My quads are built for 4S, so buy 4S batteries. If you've got 6S quads, buy 6S batteries. I don't think you really need to weigh that up too much. Trev?
Yeah, no, I agree with
that. This one's from Future FPV. You know what? And I really like his name. Future FPV. Sunday Q&A. Hey Stu, I'm thinking about doing a first build, and I've watched your $99 build video, and I've already got the motors and ESCs picked out, but I don't know what to look for in a flight controller. I do know that I want an OSD. Got any ideas for a flight controller with an OSD? Yeah, this one's really simple. Just get like an Omnibus F4, Omnibus F3. I'll link them down below. They work really well. They've got the Betaflight OSD, and they're cheap as well. So I'm a big fan of those ones. What would you use?
I'd get an Omnibus.
Okay.
No, they're great.
Yeah, they are good. This one's from Lewis. There's so many questions this week. I went a bit crazy when I was picking them all. Lewis Corner. Hey guys, thanks for all the content. Do you think that one day we'll be able to see how fast we're flying in a goggle display? You can actually do that right now, but you've got to put a GPS in there. So unless you're getting that GPS into your drone, then you're not going to get that data. I don't want to use the weight, the extra purchase. I don't want to spend the extra money on doing it. I don't need that data. So yes, you can do it now, but are we going to do it? Probably not, because it's just going to be extra weight, extra cost, and another point of failure.
And the only thing I'm thinking about is you're going to look and see how fast you're going to go smash.
Yeah, it's
straight into something.
And it's an extra bit of data you have to look at.
Not worth it.
Yeah, much better just to go get a couple of cals, station them on the field with little guns. They can call it out what it's going on the radar. Oxgen podcast. Where might I find this audible goodness? And yes, like I mentioned at the start, podcast, by the time you watch this, it should be up because it does take a bit of a while. Yeah, it's such a pain to make a podcast, but with the submitting it and making sure whatever iTunes has to do with it, it should be up soon. Don't worry, I'll put the link if it's ready on the end of somewhere down below. Shatif, I swear that's how you pronounce it. Shatif Conyers. Lol, you guys spelled your own channel name wrong on this Q&A title. That's true, and that's just how professional we are on the Q&As. I know we spelled UAVfutures incorrectly on the last Q&A.
What's this? What?
I did, and I thought, well, you know what, that's kind of how our channel is. It's just how it rolls, and I decided to leave it there. It did make me laugh.
And there you go. That's why he's not teaching anymore, folks.
Very funny Drib spoof. My question is about the new FrSky X-Lite transmitter. Will you be doing a review? Would you be willing to switch from your Turnigy to it if it feels good in your hands? Could be a real competitor in the joystick style controller lines available. Well, this one's kind of making me think, well, how long have you, I just thought I saw a bug. How long have you been watching the videos? Because I switched from the, or which videos have you been watching recently is coming up in YouTube, because I switched from the Evolution about 12 months ago.
We all did.
Yeah. And I've been flying the QX7, yeah, for probably 12 months. But absolutely, do I want to do a review on that? Yes. Do I want one if the range is good and it feels good? Do I want one as my main sort of radio? Absolutely. I like the look of it. I prefer that because I fly with my thumbs. I want that radio bad. What about you, Trev?
Yeah, look,
are you gonna make?
I really like the Evolution as well. The only reason we changed because we had issues with some of the receivers. So
would you? Here's a question then. Would you go back to the Evolution if it felt like the Evolution? It had your good gimbals in there and it worked with FrSky.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that tells you, that sums it up. We want that radio. We want it to be good, but that's if they can pull it off. Because I know in the past sometimes they've released some radios and like the Horus or the Horrible was its nickname because it just wasn't what we wanted. Anyway. This one's from Alan Ball. Eyeshadow Itchy. Keep it up, GT. Grump Trev. Did they name the Diatone GT M5 after Trevor?
Yep.
Great channel. This one's from, who was that from? That was from Alan Ball. This one's from Stephen Gerlach. Will you be doing a 6S build? Trevor?
No.
No. Well, I don't plan to. You should. No, I'm not going to never send it.
Not yet.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. Take 905. Hi guys. First time commenting on YouTube. Love your channel. Well, thanks so much. That's a bit of an honor. Like, welcome to YouTube. Welcome to comments. Stick them down below because this is how we interact with you guys. We love reading them. Hands down, the best FPV channel going. Great advice and entertaining. Well, I'm glad I said all that nice stuff now. It's just, anyway. Question, what was the hardest part of FPV to learn for yourself and what was the best part? Keep up the fantastic work.
To spell it.
Get out. What was the hardest part, Trevor, for you?
Of FPV?
Yeah, I'll guess the whole hobby. Oh, put Trevor on the spot here. Do you want me to go first, old man?
It seems so long ago.
Yeah, what was the hardest part?
I've got to think back longer than you.
Yeah, okay. You did start before me. Or what's the best part?
The first time you put the goggles on.
No. Shut down.
Did it?
No, I meant, I was coming in for like me, this friendship was the best part. And you're like putting the goggles on. Alright, and the hardest part?
Meeting you.
Get out.
No.
I'm gonna say, for me, probably the best part, I still remember, like, I was going to say this all on, but for me it really is the friendships that we've made and meeting you and Cal, and not a day goes by I don't speak to you guys and ring you guys and we hang out, get the hanky out. Yeah, that's
I haven't got one.
That's definitely the best part for me. It's been unreal for my I don't know what you'd say that, like my...
You said the hardest part.
And the best part, that's the best part. The hardest part was probably the hardest parts to learn yourself would have been that first trying to solder and having the confidence to be able to solder and not think I'm going to break everything. It felt so strange to me and so alien to take something apart and be like, what? I need to heat this metal up and put this other bit of metal on this wire and join those two things. That was a skill I'd never done before, and that was quite confronting for me to take my electronics that I'd spent money on and hit them with this hot tool. So for me, that was confronting. Different time for you, though. That was probably normal for you. But yeah, what was the hardest part for you, GT?
Building the first quad. Absolutely, yeah.
Getting it that first hover, getting the radio. Oh, also, I couldn't stand radios and binding. That would drive me nuts. It still drives me nuts to this day.
Learning all the shit that went with it was the hardest. But once you get there, it's easy because if you enjoy it enough, it's not going to be a hard thing to learn.
Yeah,
so.
and I think that's why I make content anyway, to make that transition easier for people. This one's from Broke Pilot. I swear we've answered some of his before, maybe even last week. I love these Q&As, especially with those weeks. Question, what are the top tips, recommendations to start a YouTube channel? One top tip, because we answer this all the time.
Broke Pilot, I reckon he lives in the Philippines and he's Korean. I reckon.
Why are you saying that?
Because I talked to him on Discord. G'day, Broke Pilot.
Okay. All right. For me, if you want to start a YouTube channel, here because we talk about YouTube a little bit. Here's my top tip for YouTube. Do not start it unless you are really, really passionate and you're doing it because you love it. There you go. It's plain and simple. You need to be passionate and love it, and then start it because you're going to enjoy doing it. Don't start it for any other reason other than you love making content and you love FPV. That's my top tip.
That's the quickest one ever.
Yep. What do you got, Grandpa?
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Okay. This one, and I just got a message from DHL. Should we find out what it says, or shall we?
Yeah, let's have a look.
No, I already know what it's going to say. Your package from blah 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 has been shipped, or something, or is due for delivery. G'day, gents. Since GT opened the door about being a YouTube star, I'm wondering how you guys balance your rock star status. This one's from Willie Kinston. How you balance your rock star status and the legions of fans with being part of the hobby build community. I've heard other hobby YouTubers talk about burnout from suddenly having a flood of friend requests and message and people trying to meet them in person. How do you think you'll manage having close ties to your fans without having a bunch of fanboys or fangirls stalking you at the test track? Trevor, you've probably met more people than I have, like more strangers.
Yeah, I've met a few. I was away. I met a couple of guys over in England, and
do you think you'll get burnt out from meeting people?
No, I loved it. They were fantastic to meet people. Yeah, definitely not. And I'm meeting people all the time, actually talking to them live on Discord, and that's fantastic. You just meet people in there all the time, and you get to know them pretty well. Talk to other guys most nights, and I'm normally on there if you want to pop in and say hello. I'll talk to anybody, even you. And
you've even got your own channel, the Grumpy Trev's personal bleep line.
Yeah, so you can come in there and abuse me if you like.
But then you'll get booted.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say, how do we handle our rock stars, legions of fans? Well, for me, it doesn't really feel like that. Like, I feel like I'm just like you guys. I know we've said this enough. We've said this in the past, but I feel like I'm just like you guys. We're just normal pilots hanging out with our friends, and we want to bring you along on the adventure. I guess Discord goes a long way for meeting a lot of people. And how do I go about would I ever get burnout? No, I think that is the ultimate rush when you meet people who are into the hobby and they're excited to see you and what you do. It goes both ways. And I can tell a little bit of an off-tangent story, just for something a bit different. When we were looking at moving house, I actually ran into someone and they were like, Stu, I love your videos. And I was so excited about meeting them. I said, hey, can I get a photo? Like, you're one of the first people I've met this in public. So I was excited about meeting people. I don't think I'm going to burn out whatsoever. That's one of the best bits. Anyway, we're going to go on.
Oh, you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
I was just going to get on Discord.
And I'm also going to say how we are. Anyway, we're going to move on. Jonathan Wilson, nice video. What are your favourite ways of setting up a track? What time of gates do you recommend? What's a favourite way to set up a track? That's when someone else does it, I think.
Yeah, but we normally walk a track first, or Stu will fire around and pick the track out, and we just dump a gate where we get some nice lines.
Yep, so I think that's a good way.
Easiest way to do it. Yeah, it always works well for us.
Some happy flying videos. Yeah, find those lines. What kind of gates do you recommend? Well, I'm going to put a link down below. I used to like those instant pop-up gates. They're a bit of hype a little while ago, but I have found they've started to blow over in the end, and I still have to tack them down anyway. The phaser gates that I use are really, really high quality, and I'm going to put a link down below. I'm a big fan of those.
Probably one of the best gates we've had, because we've hit those and they don't
rip.
They don't rip at all. They're really good quality.
So, who was that from? Jonathan Wilson. Jonathan Wilson. This one's from C Alt. What FPV quad components do you break the most?
props.
Yep, that's a pretty good answer. Yeah, I was trying to think of something else.
Used to break antennas. But don't do
Motors,
that anymore.
for me,
Yeah.
I reckon motors. If you're getting dirt in there a lot or they can take a bit of a nick, I would say motors out of any of the ESCs and cameras and those. Oh, but then again, if you smash a camera if it doesn't have good protection.
Yeah, but the odd one.
Yeah.
Not very often.
It's all, yeah, you don't really break too much anymore.
We break hundreds of props.
Yeah, yeah.
That's about it.
How long did it take to get used to acro mode? When we met, were you still flying in self-level?
Horizon, yeah.
Yeah,
virtually,
you were. When did you switch?
When I started flying yours. When
What?
you switched.
No, I'd switched before we'd met.
Had you? Oh,
Yeah.
well, then.
When?
When I started flying yours, I thought, this is better.
Okay, all right. It took how long? How long do you reckon it took you to get used to acro mode? This is from CM1226.
Probably, I don't know, couple of few packs.
Yeah, I reckon 10
Wasn't that hard.
10 packs or so. Go watch my UAVfutures flight school. That'll help you. Glenny to you. Question for the next round. Stu, how does it feel to have other celebrities watching your videos and mentioning you? JB, Ladrib, Andy RC. Well, I guess they mention us. I know someone did a Grumpy Trev impersonation the other day. I thought was kind of funny. How do you feel about that? The people you watch are doing parodies or talking about you?
I reckon it's great because it's such a small community that we've got. It's everyone makes fun of everyone and it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
It's,
Good faith.
well, we do it in good fun, so...
Yeah, I would say it does kind of make me spin out a little bit. Like when I watch other channels, when they mention my name, it's kind of, they seem like celebrities to me, and you don't realise, you don't feel like there's a disconnect. I don't feel like there's a disconnect between my channel and just the everyday pilot out there. So when I watch these other people and they mention my names, I kind of feel like they're celebrities. So yeah, it does blow my mind a little bit because I feel like I'm just sort of like you
well,
guys.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. When I was...
Okay, is this a long story till I get the headphones
It's very
now?
short. When I was over...
Wait, then
You ready?
Done.
Overseas,
Yeah.
in Italy,
Yeah.
we actually went to the Vatican.
God, this is going to be long, isn't it? I can just tell.
And
In 1942,
I was lucky enough
they
to-
didn't call it the Vatican back
you
then.
got to shut up. I was lucky enough to meet the Pope. And, yeah. And someone actually said to me later on, said, I was talking to Joe before, and he says, who's that guy up next to GT?
I don't get it. Is this a joke?
I was standing next to the Pope,
Yeah.
and they said, who's that guy next to GT?
Oh, that's at the Pope.
Yeah.
Oh, and no, like I get it. Like you're famous, but they didn't know who the Pope was.
Yeah, who's he?
Yeah, I get it now. You know,
I thought it was... Did you guys... Give me a thumbs up for that one, guys.
We'll put a little poll up here. Was Trevor's joke funny or was it terrible? You know, and you know a joke is good when you have to explain it. That's the pinnacle, a definition of a good joke. All right, this one's from Ernie Epoch. That sounds like hip hop. Q for whoever bothered to show up this week, Calvin. Do you prefer a technical racetrack or a faster track, and why?
Fast. Technical gets boring after a while.
Yeah. I don't think it's good. For me, it's got nothing to do with boredom, but technical tracks just drive me nuts because you can't smash I can't smash the throttle as much as I'd like, and I feel like there's a lot more crashes as well, and it just doesn't flow. I don't see many good real-life motorcar racetracks that are really, really technical and tight. A lot of them have these really nice flowing lines that are really well thought out, and the same thing goes with FPV racing. You know, it's good to have some little technical sections, but if most of your pilots are stuck under 50% throttle for the majority of the race with just a little blip occasionally of some top throttle, I don't think that really makes for some good racing. I much prefer to be able to follow the lines, and also as a spectator, I think it looks much better watching those big fast lines.
You get more exercise though when it's a technical track because you crash a lot more.
Yeah. When are you going to review the Fat Shark HD reviews? There's a couple of this on this. You know, Fat Shark didn't send you guys free sets of HDOs like they did with the Rotor Riot guys. That's from Lord Nation, Drone Inclusion. They're both next to each other. We will be doing a pair of the Fat Shark HDOs when I get around to it.
Yeah.
So look.
Why is that, Fat Chuck? Why haven't we got each?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't have a pair. Do you have a pair?
No.
I have tried some on. I've got to say, look, I kind of did. I had one flight with them, and I did like them, but not nearly enough to sort of do a full review or make a comment on them. But yeah, I guess that is something I want to do for you guys. I'll try and get it done. I know you guys have been asking as well. I hear you loud and clear. I'll try and get some goggles for you.
Yeah, I'd love to do a review on those.
Matthew F. Most people who comment on your content are positive and supportive. I notice you take time to respond and like their posts, which is awesome. Yet I've seen some negative comments with a few coming from serious YouTube creators. Some have even said rude things in their own videos about you and other creators. How do you deal with these comments and creators? So, have you ever considered just removing them? What do you reckon, Trevor? How do you deal with hate?
Well, we're Aussies. We don't give a so.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Look, if someone's got some beef with, with Trevor or with myself, and let them vent their opinion, they've got reasons for doing it. I don't need to. Good on them. Do whatever you need to do for your own channel and whatever works for you. For me, it's all about positivity. I try not to take note of those things too much, and as long as I'm having a good time making good content for you people watching this right now, then those naysayers, they can go and do what they like. Because at the end of the day, I'm here for my fans, my viewers. I want to share this message of FPV, and I feel so positive that those small negative comments, it's water off a duck's back. Yeah.
Internet trolls. You know what's worse than that?
What?
When it's raining, you can't fly.
Okay. Anyway, this one's from Paul Newton. Hey guys, thanks for all you do. What would you say is more important for a new pilot? Getting that PIDs tuned perfectly, or PIDs tuned, or simply getting more stick time and worrying about the tuning later? At what point do you feel PIDs begin to matter to newer pilots? Well, let me sum this up. Do PIDs matter to us, really?
Stick time and never.
Yeah, there we go. You don't need those PIDs. Don't worry about it. We don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey Stu and Trev, it's not that Trev's head is getting larger. It's just, this is from Nevin Leby. You ready to say something to Nevi? You ready? You got a good line coming up for this? Is he going to be mean?
What's his name?
Nevin.
Nevin.
Here we go. Hey Stu and Trev, it's not that Trev's head is getting larger. It's just that he's looking more fit and losing weight.
Good on you, Nev. There
you go. You didn't expect that one, did you?
Where's he?
He's here on my phone.
What a nice bloke.
Hey Stu, should people move to butterfly? And I should get some hair like my Mr. Cactus. That must be talking about the cactus on my bench. His name is Spike. But, definitely try it out. If you've got a quad that's giving you some vibrations, oscillations, give it a go. I liked it. Buzz Cola. I think this might be the last. This is actually the last one because I could tell because it's a funny screenshot. And this one's just from Zach's Big Burgers. And I've got to give a shout out to him because every single comment, every single video, he always put, Stuart, love this comment, or reply to this comment, or do this, or do that. And most of the time I just give him a little heart or, respond. But here we go, Zach. I do see all your things, mate. So thumbs up to you. Thanks very much. Anyway, that was actually it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Put your questions down below. Make sure you subscribe for more FPV related content. Hope you enjoyed that Q&A. If you listened on the podcast, thanks so much. Hopefully it was out by the time they watch this. And sorry about all the shenanigans that go on in the background. There was one comment last week when I was reading through this, and it said, this was after the last one, it said, Stuart, we love your Q&As with the drone stuff, but God, there is just so much waffle and crap in between. And then I said, that's my favourite bit. I love all these shenanigans that we've got going on. Anyway, enough rambling. Subscribe for more FPV related content. And do you want to say anything to the people? Yeah, and as always, happy flying. Alright Trevor, let's a bit of the bonus stuff. Here we are in your new studio. Look how good this is looking, peoples. Look at this. This had all this mess in here before. Not anymore. Ooh, let's zoom back out. Look at me. All those pro camera skills. Ooh la la. Looking very sharp.